Emma Johnson woke up at 5:30 a.m., just like she did every morning. The sun was not even up yet, but she was already full of energy. She had been a nurse at City General Hospital for 12 years, and she loved every day of it. Emma was not just any nurse. She was the kind of nurse that patients asked for by name. Emma lived alone in a small house with her cat, Max. She did not have a husband or children, but she had hundreds of family members at the hospital. That's how she saw her patients, as family. She made her coffee, fed Max, and got ready for her day. At 6:45 a.m., Emma arrived at City General. The big hospital was already busy. Doctors rushed around, other nurses changed shifts, and ambulances came and went. Emma waved to Tom, the security guard who had worked there even longer than she had. "Good morning, Nurse Emma. Ready to save some lives today?" Tom asked with a smile. "Always ready, Tom. Always ready," Emma replied. This was their daily greeting. But today, those words would mean more than ever before. Emma went to the nurses' station on the 3rd floor. This was her floor, the intensive care unit. The patients here were the sickest in the hospital. Many of them were between life and death. Today, Emma was in charge of 5 patients. "Emma, thank goodness you're here," said Nurse Jenny, who had worked the night shift. It was a crazy night. The man in room 307 is new. His name is Robert Chen. He came in with a bad heart attack last night. The doctor says he might need surgery today. Emma nodded and took her notes. She liked to know everything about her patients. She went to check on each one, saving Mr. Chen for last. When she walked into room 307, she saw a middle-aged man hooked up to many machines. His face was gray, and he looked very sick. "Good morning, Mr. Chen. I'm Nurse Emma. I'll be taking care of you today," she said softly. Mr. Chen opened his eyes slowly. "My family?" he asked in a weak voice. "They're on their way. Your wife called and said she's bringing your 2 daughters. They should be here soon," Emma told him. Mr. Chen tried to smile but then started coughing. Emma quickly checked his vital signs. His blood pressure was dropping. This was not good. She pressed the emergency button to call for help. Dr. Harrison, the head doctor, rushed in. "What's happening?" "His blood pressure is dropping fast, and his heart rate is too high," Emma reported. Dr. Harrison checked Mr. Chen quickly. "He's going into shock. We need to prepare him for emergency surgery now." The room filled with doctors and nurses. Everyone had a job to do. Emma stayed by Mr. Chen's side, giving him medicine and talking to him calmly. She held his hand and promised him that he would see his family soon. Just then, the hospital's fire alarm went off. Everyone looked up in surprise. "It's probably nothing, but protocol says most of us have to go check," Dr. Harrison said. "Emma, stay with him. We'll be right back." Soon, Emma was alone with Mr. Chen. The machines around him started beeping loudly. His heart was failing. Emma knew they had only minutes to act. The hospital had strict rules. Nurses could not give certain powerful heart medicines without a doctor present. It was against the rules. Emma could lose her job, but Mr. Chen was dying right in front of her eyes. Emma looked at the medicine cabinet. She knew exactly what Mr. Chen needed. She knew how to give it. She had seen doctors do it hundreds of times. The beeping got louder. Mr. Chen's eyes closed. Emma made her decision. She opened the cabinet and took out the medicine that might save his life. As she prepared the injection, she whispered, "Hold on, Mr. Chen. Your family is coming. You have to meet your daughters." She broke the rule to save a life. What Emma didn't know was that this one decision would change her life forever. Emma's hands moved quickly as she prepared the medicine. She knew every second counted for Mr. Chen. The hospital rules were clear. Only doctors could give this special heart medicine. But Dr. Harrison was gone, and Mr. Chen was dying right now. She pushed the medicine into Mr. Chen's IV line. Then she watched the machines closely. For 10 long seconds, Nothing changed. The beeping continued. Emma began to worry she had made a terrible mistake. Then suddenly, the beeping slowed down. Mr. Chen's heart rate became more normal. His blood pressure started to rise. He was coming back. Emma let out a long breath she didn't know she was holding. Just as Mr. Chen opened his eyes, Dr. Harrison rushed back into the room. "False alarm on the fire," he said. Then he looked at the monitors. "His numbers are better." "What happened?" Emma swallowed hard. She had to tell the truth. "He was crashing, doctor. I gave him the heart medicine." Dr. Harrison's face changed from surprise to anger. "You did what?" "Without permission." "Emma, you know the rules." "I know, but he was dying," Emma said. "We couldn't wait." Dr. Harrison checked Mr. Chen carefully. The medicine was the right call medically, but that's not the point. "You broke a serious rule. I have to report this." Emma nodded. She knew what might happen, but she didn't regret her choice. Mr. Chen was alive. Just then, a woman and 2 teenage girls rushed into the room. "Robert," the woman cried, running to Mr. Chen's bed. She took his hand, and tears filled her eyes when he squeezed back. "Dad," the girls said together, moving to his side. Emma stepped back to give the family space. Mrs. Chen turned to Dr. Harrison. "How is he? Will he be okay?" she asked. "Your husband had another heart attack, but he's stable now," Dr. Harrison explained. He didn't mention what Emma had done. "We need to take him to surgery soon." Mrs. Chen wiped her tears and turned to Emma. "Are you his nurse?" "Yes, I'm Nurse Emma," she replied with a small smile. Mrs. Chen surprised her by giving her a tight hug. "Thank you for taking care of him." Emma felt her eyes water. If Mrs. Chen only knew what had just happened. 2 hours later, Mr. Chen went to surgery. Emma continued caring for her other patients, but she couldn't stop thinking about what she had done. She knew she might lose her job, but a man was alive because of her choice. At the end of her shift, the hospital director's secretary came to find her. "Emma, Ms. Peterson wants to see you in her office right away," the secretary said in a serious voice. Emma's stomach dropped. Ms. Peterson was the hospital director. Being called to her office was never good news. Emma walked slowly to the big office on the top floor. Every step felt heavy. When she entered, she saw Ms. Peterson sitting behind her desk with Dr. Harrison and the head nurse, Mrs. Williams, sitting in chairs across from her. "Please sit down, Emma," Ms. Peterson said. Her face was hard to read. Emma sat down. Her hands were shaking a little, so she folded them in her lap. "Dr. Harrison has told me what happened with Mr. Chen today," Ms. Peterson began. "You gave a Class A medication without doctor approval. Is that correct?" "Yes, Mom," Emma said. "Mr. Chen was dying. There was no time to wait." "The rules are clear," Ms. Peterson continued. "Only doctors can give those medicines. No exceptions." "I understand," Emma said quietly. "Mr. Chen is in recovery now," Dr. Harrison added. "The surgery went well." "That's good to hear," Emma said. At least her choice had helped. Ms. Peterson leaned forward. "Emma, you've been with us for 12 years. You're one of our best nurses. But I cannot allow staff to break such important rules, even for good reasons." Emma knew what was coming next. She held her breath. "I'm sorry, Emma," Ms. Peterson said, "but I have no choice. You're fired. Effective immediately. Please clear out your locker and turn in your ID badge before you leave." The room went silent. Emma felt like she couldn't breathe. But she saved his life. Mrs. Williams spoke up. "Doesn't that count for anything?" "Rules are rules," Ms. Peterson said firmly. "If we make exceptions, where do we draw the line?" Emma stood up slowly. "I understand. I'll clean out my locker now." As she walked to the door, Dr. Harrison called after her. "For what it's worth, Emma, I would have given him the same medicine." Emma gave a sad smile and walked out. 12 years at City General Hospital were over. She had saved a life, but lost her job. As she emptied her locker, she wondered what would happen next. Emma walked out of City General Hospital with a small box of her things. The security guard, Tom, watched her leave with sad eyes. "Is it true?" he asked. "They fired you for saving that man?" Emma nodded. She couldn't speak. Her throat felt tight. "That's not right," Tom said, shaking his head. "Not right at all." Emma gave him a small smile and walked to her car. The drive home felt longer than usual. When she got home, Max the cat ran to greet her. Emma picked him up and finally let her tears fall. "What am I going to do now, Max?" she whispered. "Nursing is all I know." That night, Emma could not sleep. She kept thinking about Mr. Chen and his family. She wondered if they knew she had been fired. She wondered if she would ever work as a nurse again. The next morning, Emma's phone rang. It was Jenny, the night nurse from the hospital. "Emma, everyone is talking about what happened," Jenny said. "We all think it's so unfair. Mrs. Williams is very upset. She told everyone you saved Mr. Chen's life." "Thank you, Jenny," Emma said. "How is Mr. Chen doing?" "He's doing well. The doctors say he might go home in a week." Jenny paused. "His family keeps asking for you. They want to thank you." Emma felt a little better knowing Mr. Chen was recovering. "Please tell them I'm glad he's okay." After hanging up, Emma sat at her kitchen table and tried to think about her future. She needed a job. She had bills to pay and no savings. But who would hire a nurse who had been fired for breaking rules? Emma spent the next 3 days applying for nursing jobs at other hospitals and clinics. But as soon as they called City General for a reference, the conversations ended quickly. No one wanted to hire her. On the 4th day after being fired, Emma was washing dishes when she heard a knock on her door. She wasn't expecting anyone. She dried her hands and went to answer it. Standing on her porch was Dr. Harrison. Emma was shocked to see him there. "Dr. Harrison, what are you doing here?" she asked. "May I come in, Emma?" he asked. He looked serious. Emma stepped back to let him in. They sat in her small living room. "I've been thinking about what happened," Dr. Harrison said. "I don't agree with how the hospital handled things. You made a medical decision that saved a life." Emma nodded but didn't know what to say. "Mr. Chen is going home tomorrow," Dr. Harrison continued. "He knows what you did for him. His wife asked me how to reach you. I hope you don't mind that I gave them your address." "That's fine," Emma said. "I'm glad he's doing well." Dr. Harrison looked uncomfortable. "There's something else. I've been offered a job at Riverside Medical Center. They're opening a new cardiac care unit. They need an experienced head nurse." Emma felt a stab of jealousy. Everyone was moving on with their careers while hers was over. "Congratulations," she said, trying to sound happy for him. "I recommended you for the position," Dr. Harrison said. Emma stared at him. "Me? But I was just fired. No hospital will hire me now." Dr. Harrison smiled. "Riverside isn't just any hospital. The director there, Dr. Wilson, is an old friend of mine. I told him exactly what happened. He said any nurse who puts patients first is the kind of nurse he wants." Emma couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Are you serious?" "Very serious. Dr. Wilson wants to meet you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Dr. Harrison stood up. "It's a better position than you had at City General. More responsibility and better pay." Emma stood too, her legs feeling shaky. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll go to the interview," Dr. Harrison smiled. "And Emma, sometimes doing the right thing has a price, but it also has rewards." After Dr. Harrison left, Emma sat back down, trying to process what had just happened. Could her career really be saved? She felt a small spark of hope for the first time in days. What Emma didn't know was that an even bigger surprise was coming to her door tomorrow, a surprise that would change everything. The next morning, Emma woke up feeling both nervous and excited. She put on her best blue dress and fixed her hair carefully. The interview at Riverside Medical Center might be her only chance to save her nursing career. As she was putting on her shoes, her phone rang. It was Jenny from City General again. "Emma, you won't believe what's happening here," Jenny said, sounding excited. "What is it?" Emma asked. "The nurses are protesting. Mrs. Williams started it. More than 20 nurses are wearing black armbands today. They say it's to show support for you and to protest against unfair rules." Emma was shocked. "Really? Won't they get in trouble?" "Maybe, but they don't care. Even some of the doctors are wearing them. Dr. Franklin said in the morning meeting that firing you was short-sighted and foolish. Ms. Peterson is very angry." Emma felt tears come to her eyes. "Tell everyone thank you. It means so much to me." After hanging up, Emma checked the time. It was 9:15 a.m. Her interview at Riverside was at 10 o'clock. She needed to leave soon. Just as she grabbed her purse, there was a knock at the door. Emma wondered if it was Dr. Harrison coming to wish her good luck. But when she opened the door, she was surprised to see a man she didn't know. He was tall, wore an expensive suit, and carried a leather briefcase. "Ms. Emma Johnson?" the man asked. "Yes, that's me," Emma replied, confused. "My name is David Chen. I believe you know my father, Robert Chen." Emma's eyes widened. "You're Mr. Chen's son. How is your father doing?" David Chen smiled. "He's doing very well, thanks to you. May I come in? I won't take much of your time." Emma checked her watch. She still had a little time before her interview. "Of course, please come in." They sat in Emma's living room. Max the cat watched the visitor carefully from his spot on the couch. "My father told me what you did," David began. "You broke the rules to save his life." Emma nodded. "I just did what I thought was right." "And you lost your job because of it," David said. "My mother and sisters are very upset about this. My father even more so." "It's okay," Emma said. "Actually, I have a job interview today at Riverside Medical Center." David looked surprised. "That's good to hear, but that's not why I'm here." He opened his briefcase and took out some papers. "Ms. Johnson, I'm a lawyer. My firm, Chen and Partners, is one of the biggest law firms in the city. I've looked into what happened at City General, and I believe they were wrong to fire you." Emma shifted in her seat. "What do you mean?" "The hospital has policies for emergencies. I checked their rules. There's a clause that says in life-threatening situations where no doctor is present, a senior nurse can act to save a patient. You were within your rights." Emma was shocked. She had worked at City General for 12 years, but had never heard of this rule. "Are you sure?" she asked. David nodded. "Very sure. The hospital either doesn't know their own rules, or they ignored them to make an example of you. Either way, they were wrong." He handed her the papers. "This is a letter from my firm to City General Hospital. We're demanding they give you your job back, with back pay and a formal apology. If they refuse, we're prepared to file a lawsuit on your behalf. At no cost to you, of course." Emma stared at the papers in her hands. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll let us help you," David said. "My father is alive because of you. This is the least we can do." Emma felt overwhelmed. "This is so kind, but I'm not sure I want to go back to City General after what happened." David smiled. "You don't have to decide now. Go to your interview at Riverside. Keep your options open. We'll take care of the legal side." As David was leaving, he turned back at the door. "Oh, and my father wants to see you. The whole family does. Would you come to dinner at our house this Saturday?" "I'd be honored," Emma said. After David left, Emma sat down with the legal papers in her lap. Her life had turned upside down in less than a week. First, she lost her job. Then, she got a chance at a new one. And now, Mr. Chen's son was fighting to get her old job back. She was about to get up and leave for her interview when there was another knock at her door. Who could it be this time? Emma opened her door and found herself facing a crowd of people. At least 15 nurses from City General stood on her front lawn. Mrs. Williams was in front, holding a large cake. Behind her, Emma saw Jenny, Tom the security guard, and many other friends from the hospital. "What is this?" Emma asked, her mouth open in surprise. Mrs. Williams stepped forward. "We wanted to show our support. The way the hospital treated you was wrong." "But don't you all have work today?" Emma asked. Jenny smiled. "We all took our lunch break at the same time. Ms. Peterson isn't happy, but she can't stop us." Emma invited everyone inside. Her small house was soon filled with people, all talking at once. They told her about the black armbands and how even some patients had heard about what happened and were asking questions. "There's something else," Mrs. Williams said, her voice getting serious. "We started a petition. Everyone at the hospital is signing it. Nurses, doctors, even some patients. We're demanding that Ms. Peterson give you your job back." "Over 200 people have signed already," Jenny added. Emma felt tears come to her eyes. "I don't know what to say. Thank you all so much." Tom the security guard spoke up. "The word is spreading outside the hospital too. The local news called today. They want to do a story about what happened." Emma was shocked. "A news story? About me?" Mrs. Williams nodded. "They're calling it Nurse Fired for Saving a Life. People are angry about it. The hospital is getting a lot of phone calls." Emma told them about her meeting with David Chen and about the job interview at Riverside. "That's wonderful," Mrs. Williams said. "But we still want you back. City General needs nurses like you." After 30 minutes, everyone had to leave to get back to work. Emma hugged each person as they left. Her heart felt full. She had not realized how many friends she had. As the last person was leaving, Mrs. Williams turned back. "Oh, I almost forgot. Someone dropped this off for you at the hospital." She handed Emma an envelope. Inside was a card. It was signed by Mr. Chen and his entire family, including his wife, 3 children, and 5 grandchildren. The card read, "Thank you for saving our father and grandfather. You are our hero." Emma had to sit down. It was all so overwhelming. Just a few days ago, she thought her career was over. Now she had a job interview, a lawyer fighting for her, a petition with hundreds of names, and the support of so many friends. She looked at the clock and jumped up. It was 9:45. Her interview at Riverside was in 15 minutes, and it was a 20-minute drive. She would be late. Emma rushed to her car and drove as fast as she safely could. When she arrived at Riverside Medical Center, it was 10:10. She hurried inside, feeling nervous about being late. The hospital was bigger and newer than City General. Everything looked clean and modern. Emma found the administration office and told the receptionist her name. "Oh, Miss Johnson. They're waiting for you. Follow me, please." The receptionist led Emma to a large conference room. When she opened the door, Emma stopped in surprise. Inside the room were 5 people. Dr. Wilson, the hospital director, Dr. Harrison, David Chen, an older woman Emma didn't know, and sitting in a wheelchair, Mr. Chen himself. "Mr. Chen," Emma said, "should you be out of the hospital so soon?" Mr. Chen smiled. "I checked out this morning. I wouldn't miss this for anything." Emma looked around the room, confused. "What's going on? I thought this was a job interview." Dr. Wilson stood up. "It is, Ms. Johnson. But it's also something more. Please, sit down." Emma sat, feeling nervous but curious. What was happening? Why were all these people here? Dr. Wilson smiled at her. "Ms. Johnson, we've heard a lot about you in the past few days, and I have to say, I'm very impressed." He turned to Mr. Chen. "Robert, would you like to explain why we're all here?" Mr. Chen nodded and looked at Emma with grateful eyes. "Nurse Emma, after you saved my life, I made a decision, and that decision is about to change your life forever." Emma sat very still, looking at Mr. Chen. The room was quiet. Everyone seemed to be waiting for his next words. "First, I want to thank you again for saving my life," Mr. Chen said. "If you had followed the rules that day, I would not be here. My family would have lost me." He looked at the older woman sitting next to him. "This is my wife, Linda. We have been married for 42 years. Linda Chen reached over and took her husband's hand. "When they told me Robert had another heart attack, I was so scared. But then they said a brave nurse had saved him. That was you." Emma smiled at her. "I just did what needed to be done." Mr. Chen continued, "After I learned what happened to you, that you were fired for saving me, I couldn't believe it. My son David told me it was against the law, but that didn't seem like enough." He looked at Dr. Wilson. "So I called my old friend, James Wilson, here. We went to college together, you know." Dr. Wilson nodded. "Robert called me and told me the whole story. I was looking for someone to run our new cardiac care unit anyway. When I heard about you, Ms. Johnson, I knew you were the right person." "But there's more," Mr. Chen said. "You see, I'm not just a patient. I'm also a businessman. I own Chen Industries." Emma's eyes widened. Chen Industries was one of the biggest companies in the state. They'd made medical equipment. Now she understood why David Chen had such a nice suit and his own law firm. "I've been thinking about what happened," Mr. Chen continued. "About nurses like you who want to put patients first, but are stopped by bad rules. And I decided to do something about it." He looked at Dr. Wilson. "James and I have been friends for 40 years. When he told me he needed money to expand Riverside, I saw an opportunity." Dr. Wilson took over. "Ms. Johnson, Mr. Chen has just given Riverside Medical Center $20 million. Emma gasped. "20 million. "Yes," Mr. Chen said, "but with two conditions. First, that we create a special training program for nurses, a program that teaches them to make good decisions in emergencies. We'll call it the Emma Johnson program." Emma put her hand over her mouth. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "And second," Mr. Chen continued, "that you are hired as the director of this program, with a salary double what you made at City General. If you want the job, of course." Emma couldn't speak. This was more than a job offer. This was a chance to change how nurses were trained. A chance to help other nurses avoid what had happened to her. I don't know what to say," she finally managed. Dr. Harrison spoke up. "Say yes, Emma. This is a chance to make a real difference." "But what about City General?" Emma asked. "Mrs. Williams and the others are fighting for me there." David Chen smiled. "Don't worry about that. Our lawsuit is still going forward. City General will have to admit they were wrong. But you don't have to go back." "There's one more thing," Dr. Wilson said. "With Mr. Chen's donation, we're building a new wing of the hospital, a center for heart care. And we'd like to name it after you, the Emma Johnson Center for Cardiac Care." Emma felt tears running down her face. Just a week ago, she had lost her job and thought her career was over. Now she was being offered not just a new job, but a chance to run a program that would help other nurses. And they wanted to name a hospital wing after her. "This is too much," she said. "I don't deserve all this." "Yes, you do," Mr. Chen said firmly. "You put my life above your job. Now we want to honor that choice." Emma took a deep breath. Then yes. Yes to everything. "Thank you." Everyone in the room smiled. Dr. Wilson stood up to shake Emma's hand. "Welcome to Riverside, Ms. Johnson. When can you start?" Before Emma could answer, there was a knock on the conference room door. A young man poked his head in. "Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Wilson, but there's a Ms. Peterson from City General Hospital on the phone. She says it's urgent." Emma and Dr. Harrison looked at each other in surprise. Why would Ms. Peterson be calling now? Everyone in the room looked at each other with surprise. Dr. Wilson hesitated, then said, "Put her through to this room, please." The young man nodded and left. A moment later, the phone on the conference table rang. Dr. Wilson put it on speaker. "This is Dr. Wilson. he said. Dr. Wilson, this is Patricia Peterson, director of City General Hospital, came a tight voice through the speaker. I understand that Emma Johnson is in your office right now. Emma felt her stomach tighten. How did Miss Peterson know where she was? Yes, she is, Dr. Wilson replied calmly. We're having a meeting. I need to speak with her, Miss Peterson said. It's very important. Dr. Wilson looked at Emma. She nodded slowly. This is Emma, she said. Ms. Johnson. Ms. Peterson's voice sounded different now, less confident than usual. There's been a situation here at City General. I'm calling to ask if you would consider coming back. Emma was shocked. Coming back? You fired me 3 days ago. Yes, well, that may have been hasty, Miss Peterson said. David Chen leaned forward. Miss Peterson, this is David Chen, Mr. Robert Chen's son and attorney. I'm also in the room. May I ask what changed your mind? There was a pause on the line. Several things, Ms. Peterson finally said. First, we've received over 400 signatures on a petition demanding Ms. Johnson's return. Second, 3 news stations have called asking for interviews about a nurse fired for saving a life. And third, I've just been informed by our legal team that Ms. Johnson's firing may have violated our own emergency protocols. I see, David said, giving Emma a small smile. The hospital board met this morning. Ms. Peterson continued. They've authorized me to offer Ms. Johnson her job back with a formal apology and 3 months of back pay. The room was quiet. Emma didn't know what to say. Just a few days ago, this would have been everything she wanted. Now, it felt too little, too late. Dr. Wilson spoke up. Miss Peterson, I should inform you that Ms. Johnson has just accepted a position here at Riverside. What position? Ms. Peterson asked quickly. Director of our new nurse training program, the Emma Johnson Program for Emergency Care, Dr. Wilson said with pride in his voice. There was a long silence on the phone. I see, Ms. Peterson finally said. Perhaps we could make a counteroffer. Mr. Chen, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Miss Peterson, this is Robert Chen. I was the patient whose life Emma saved. Mr. Chen. Ms. Peterson sounded surprised. I didn't realize you were there as well. Yes, I am. And I just donated $20 million to Riverside to create this program and a new cardiac care center that will be named after Emma. There was a gasp on the other end of the line. 20 million. Ms. Peterson's voice was barely a whisper. Yes, Mr. Chen continued, because Emma put my life above hospital rules, so I'm afraid your counteroffer won't be necessary. Emma felt a strange mix of emotions. There was satisfaction at seeing Miss Peterson finally understand what she had lost, but there was also sadness for her friends at City General. Miss Peterson, Emma said, I appreciate the offer, but I've made my decision. I'm going to stay at Riverside. However, I hope our hospitals can work together. The nurses at City General are wonderful, and many are my friends. Of course, Ms. Peterson said, her voice now professional again. Congratulations on your new position, Ms. Johnson. We wish you well. After they hung up, Emma looked around the room. Everyone was smiling at her. Well, Dr. Wilson said, that was interesting. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. When can you start, Ms. Johnson? Emma smiled. How about Monday? Perfect, Dr. Wilson said. We'll have your office ready. As they continued discussing plans for the new program, Emma's phone buzzed with a text message. It was from Jenny at City General. You're on the news. Every channel. Call me. Emma looked up from her phone with wide eyes. I'm on the news. Dr. Harrison checked his phone too. Not just local news. You're trending on social media too. #NurseFired for saving life is all over Twitter. Emma couldn't believe it. Her private story had somehow become public, and people were supporting her all over the country. What does this mean? she asked. Mr. Chen smiled. It means, Emma, that your story has touched people's hearts, and that this is just the beginning. 1 week later, Emma sat in her new office at Riverside Medical Center. The room was large and bright, with big windows that let in lots of sunlight. On her desk was a nameplate that read Emma Johnson, Director of Emergency Nursing Training. Next to it was a small picture frame with a photo of her and Mr. Chen's family from the dinner she had attended at their house on Saturday. Emma was reading through applications. Word about the new Emma Johnson program had spread quickly. Nurses from all over the country were applying to be part of it. Many wrote that they had heard her story on the news and were inspired by her courage. There was a knock on her door. Emma looked up to see Dr. Wilson standing there. "How are you settling in?" he asked with a smile. "Very well," Emma replied. "But it's a bit overwhelming. I never expected so many applications." Dr. Wilson nodded. "Your story touched a lot of hearts, Emma. Nurses everywhere face the same challenges you did. They want to be part of a program that understands that." He handed her a newspaper. "Have you seen today's paper?" Emma took it and saw her own face on the front page. The headline read, "Nurse fired for saving life, now leading revolutionary training program." "They're calling you a hero," Dr. Wilson said. Emma shook her head. "I just did what any good nurse would do." "That's exactly why people admire you," Dr. Wilson said. "Oh, and there's someone here to see you. Can I send her in?" Emma nodded, wondering who it could be. To her surprise, Mrs. Williams walked in. "Mrs. Williams." Emma stood up and hugged her former supervisor. "Look at you," Mrs. Williams said, looking around the office. "Director of your own program. I'm so proud of you. What brings you here?" Emma asked. Mrs. Williams sat down across from Emma's desk. "I have some news. Ms. Peterson resigned yesterday." "What?" Emma was shocked. "Yes. After everything that happened, the hospital board asked her to step down. They said her decision to fire you showed poor judgment and damaged the hospital's reputation." Emma didn't know how to feel about that. She had never wished for Miss Peterson to lose her job. "The board asked me to be the interim director," Mrs. Williams continued. "That's wonderful," Emma said. "You'll be great at it." "Thank you." Mrs. Williams smiled. "And my first official act was to change our emergency protocols. Now they clearly state that senior nurses can act to save lives when no doctor is present." Emma felt tears in her eyes. So something good came from all this after all. "More than you know," Mrs. Williams said. "I'm also here to talk about a partnership between our hospitals. We'd like to send some of our nurses to your program." "That would be perfect," Emma said. As they discussed the details, Emma's phone rang. It was the front desk. "Ms. Johnson, there's a group here to see you. They say they're from the State Nursing Association." Emma looked at Mrs. Williams in surprise. "Send them up, please." 5 minutes later, 3 people in professional suits entered Emma's office. The oldest, a distinguished woman with gray hair, stepped forward. "Ms. Johnson, I'm Dr. Helen Barnes, President of the State Nursing Association. These are my colleagues, Dr. Thompson and Dr. Lewis." Emma shook their hands, feeling nervous. The State Nursing Association was the most important nursing organization in the state. "We've been following your story with great interest," Dr. Barnes said. "What happened to you has started important conversations across the country about nursing protocols and patient care." Emma nodded, not sure what to say. "We've come today to invite you to be our keynote speaker at the National Nursing Conference next month in Washington, D.C., Dr. Barnes continued. "We want nurses across America to hear your story directly from you." Emma couldn't believe it. The National Nursing Conference was the biggest nursing event of the year. Thousands of nurses from all 50 states would attend. This would be a chance to share your experience and help change nursing policies nationwide, Dr. Thompson added. Emma felt overwhelmed. From being fired and thinking her career was over, to now being asked to speak to thousands of nurses about changing the future of nursing care, It was almost too much to take in. Would I? Would I have to go alone? Emma asked, suddenly feeling nervous about speaking to such a large crowd. Dr. Barnes smiled. Actually, we were hoping Mr. Chen might join you. His perspective as the patient whose life you saved would be invaluable. As they continued talking, Emma realized that her story was no longer just about her. It had become something much bigger, a chance to help nurses everywhere.